Wait, what's our intro? Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Democracy is Sexy.
Okay, so I think we should just start off with the question that we have to answer today.
Right. So today we're going to be talking about how can we recognize and appreciate and better understand democratic values like accountability and transparency in our everyday lives. So that's kind of like a big
Very heavy question.
loaded question. So I'm going to break it down a little bit with some smaller questions. So what does accountability and transparency mean to you?
I think, okay, I'm going to break that down even more. So
Okay.
accountability to me is taking responsibility for your actions. So whether you made a mistake or if you hurt someone, you like admit it, like, hey, I was wrong. Being able to admit you were wrong, I think, is like a big part of accountability that a lot of people, even I, struggle with. Accountable also means like if you said you're going to do something or like you make a promise, then you got to like keep your word. Even to yourself, like, oh, I'm going to go work out today, or oh, I'm going to do this assignment. Okay, be accountable and do it. Like, yeah, even though it's hard. And transparency, that one's more like honest and also not like hiding any feelings. Like, if I were to ask you, like, is this okay? But you secretly don't like it. Like, I'd rather you make it uncomfortable and tell me how you actually feel than, like, that's being transparent. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was pretty on the nose of like what I was thinking too, but yeah, just the same thing. Like, I mean, I definitely think they go hand in hand. Like you can't take accountability without being transparent.
Ooh.
Like you have to, I don't know, you can't like have any lies or like you can't try to hide anything when you're trying to take accountability, because then like that accountability like doesn't matter, if that makes sense. Like if you're still not being fully transparent about mistakes or that have been made or anything. So
Like, if you're not being transparent, you can't be accountable.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so I don't know, that's kind of how I feel about it. Okay, this is kind of also like a like a big question, but okay, like what happens when people don't follow these values, like especially when it comes to like, I guess, government.
I think the main thing is that trust is broken.
Right.
You kind of start doubting if someone's not accountable, especially like the government, you're just gonna start thinking like, okay, well, now I can't trust them. So whenever like a new person comes in, or say like new laws are being made, like you're not gonna really see like, okay, well, what good is this doing me? I feel like you're start leaning more towards the negative side. With transparency, if you're not transparent, that can also lead to, I mean, not just untrustworthiness, but anger and resentment.
Right.
Yeah, especially I feel like that's what we're seeing a lot
Right
now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like, yeah, even like, I guess like growing up, like you like trust the government, but like also part of you knows like there's things you're never gonna like know. So I think that like barrier alone just like creates such like a distinct,
It's like a
like it breaks like,
divide.
yeah, like it breaks like the relationship, I guess, at least I've had with like what I think is like government, and like
Yeah.
not like wanting to, I guess, like put all of my trust into it, because like why would I trust something that I can't like see, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like kind of, I guess it's kind of hard in that way. So it definitely breaks like, I guess I want to say like participation. Like I would
Like
say
from
like
the public?
yeah, I would say like that persuades like a lot of people to just kind of like, oh, like I don't trust the government, like I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna vote, I'm not gonna like participate, like.
Yeah.
So I think that creates like a lot of like disconnect.
And see, now I feel like that makes it a lot worse too, because now like people don't feel like, I guess like they don't trust the government enough to put their opinion out. But then because they don't put their opinion out, then like nothing, like no change happens.
And it's very dangerous. And I think what also happens if like, when someone doesn't take accountability, like a lot of times like they just place blame on like other people, or like when you deflect like stuff that you did, then that also like creates a divide
Yeah.
in people and
Look
like
at our two like political parties right now.
right.
Like I feel like they have such like mistrust in each other.
Uh-huh.
And I think like you could be talking to someone and like say, I'm Democratic, you're Republican, and I'll be like, oh, you're Republican? I don't want to hear it anymore.
Exactly. Like it's scary. Like
Yeah. Based off of you're just like generalized now, you know, like
yeah. Or like even like I had a friend recently, like she was trying to open a business, but she was like getting like attacked online, right? And they went back on like her, I don't even know what her political like views are. They went back on like her Instagram and they found that like she was from Belen, New Mexico, which is like a small like farm town. And they were like, oh, like she's Republican, like she's MAGA, like all this stuff, and like hating on her just because of where she's from, and
oh
like
wow.
having that like hate, and like they don't like, you don't even know, like I don't even know. And it's just like crazy to see like how far the prejudice, I don't know, like just like
Yeah. The assumptions
yeah,
too,
the
like people are
assumptions.
so quick to assume um just because you're one thing that you're another, and like and that's not how it goes. Like
Right.
it's I don't know.
Yeah. So I think that can be one of the very dangerous results of lack of transparency and accountability as well. So we did talk a little bit about like the fake elector scheme in class. So a lot of it like I don't really understand, but what I do know is that it resulted in the January 6th like riot in 2021 after the like Joe Biden's election results.
Yeah, people
And
like storm like the
yeah,
White
and so
House.
that was because they believed that the results were flawed. And like that created a lot of just like the false claims that came out, and these people thought that the election was rigged, so they came and stormed the Capitol, and that obviously had its very bad results. Not to like putting aside like the violence that happened, like it created like the distinct like hatred in the parties that we're seeing now. Like I think that's when it kind of started to break off
Yeah.
like even more. So that was pretty dangerous result of what can happen.
I remember the first time, like whenever like did they show that on the news?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I saw it the day of or maybe it was like the day after. And I just thought like everything I was like the US is just gonna
Yeah.
tear itself apart. Like I don't know like I've never seen like something so like I don't know aggressive before, and
Yeah.
then I was like the White House, like you always think of like when I think of the White House I think it's like untouchable, like unreachable, no
Right.
one can access it, and like unless you're like
Yeah.
authorized to. So seeing that it was like a big like I don't
Whoa.
know, a whoa.
And this is kind of funny, but I remember at the time I had an alarm like on my phone, so like in the morning like it would read me the time, like the weather, and then like the news.
Mhm.
And so it was like the day after, and I had set my alarm, and I woke up and it was like, "Good morning." It's like 8:30 a.m. Like I don't remember what the
All
weather was.
happy.
And it was like the news, and it was like the Capitol got stormed, and then it was like fire, anarchy, like rebellion. I was like, what on earth? So that was like,
What a way to start your
yeah,
day.
that was kind of crazy.
Dang.
Um, but yeah, and then I wrote down. That's what I wrote down. So I feel like when leaders or like the people we look up to, especially in our government, like ignore the like democratic values, like it threatens what democracy like is to us, like democracy itself. Because like when we see like the people in charge and they're not following what our government is, then like why would we? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it really kind of can just like derail everything if it's not there.
Wow. I really like the way you worded that. Because it's like, yeah, why should we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's another thing, like, public participation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like a big part of like having like transparency is like being honest like with your public and like who you're doing like for government, right?
Right.
Like who you're doing this work for, because like it's not just for you, right? Like
Mhm.
you were selected to help the public, and so if you're not being accountable and transparent with this public, like how can you expect them to like return
Mhm.
that transparency and like and I don't know, like I guess that's civilness too.
Yeah. Well, I think like when you even like when you break it down, like the main point of democracy is to like is for the people, right? Like the people vote, like the people make policy. Like that's the point. So when the people aren't being represented anymore by like someone that isn't, I guess, reflecting their values, then like is it really a democracy? Like
Is it even democracy?
like
Ooh.
cuz like there's like a big notion that like oh like well look at like what democracy's doing, like look at our country, like it's failing, like like but are we truly practicing democracy like the way it should be done right now is a
Yeah.
question that I was thinking too. It's like I don't know. It's kind of scary.
So are you saying like, do we even have a democracy right now?
Yeah, well like it's also like important cuz like I think like people also need to be held accountable. I think like especially like me like to be uneducated or to like just like follow somebody blindly and
Mm.
like just believe what you're told or like you know what I mean? Like it's important to like check people in power and like when people don't take that accountability on themselves, it allows for people to take advantage.
Yeah. I 100% agree. For spring break, and I won't mention names, but I'm like got to speak to this guy who like used to campaign for like for politics. He was a
Uh-huh.
politician and he used to campaign, and he was like just telling us like no matter what like political party you associate yourself with, sorry, or like even like what values, like you should always try to read articles that have more centrist views,
Right.
or even you try to have more of a centrist view and not just like one extreme, because like you're like supposed to compromise, but also that way you're not so blindsided.
Mhm.
Because if you're just reading, or not even reading but watching like through social media and like on the news, excuse me, things that you like already believe in, like that's just gonna make like confirm what you believe in, even though it could be wrong. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like you also need to hear what's going on the other side,
Right.
because who knows, like that might either change your mind or you might realize like, wow, I didn't know they were going through this.
Yeah, and like even now like I think I talked about this in a different class, but like social media is like a big part of I guess like that problem that we're seeing now. So like your feed is like just gonna give you videos that you
I
like or
see,
like
yeah.
you want to see. So like you're stuck in like this bubble of like media. So like if I'm on if I'm on the right and I just like videos like that, like I'm only gonna get videos like that. So like how would I see like other sides of the media? And like the fact that we get so much of our news off of social media is like kind of scary as well because like we don't there's so much of it, like how do you know what's the truth?
Yeah.
So like when it comes
Especially
to
with AI now.
yeah, like AI
Like the half the stuff I could be watching, I'm like, oh my goodness, and it could be fake, and
right.
I believe it.
Yeah, like the video of like the bunnies like on the trampoline, like
Get out.
I thought that was real.
I think
Um
my mom sent me one of those videos, and I was like, that's not real.
yeah. So like when we look at like accountability, like we need to hold people in power accountable, but like we also need to hold ourselves accountable. Like you have to it's important to like know what's going on and like to be educated and like I say all that knowing that like there's a lot I still have to there's a lot that I need to do to like be accountable, but like I mean that's just the truth. So yeah, I would say that's a big part of it for sure. How do governments show accountability and transparency to citizens? And then do you believe our government does?
Do we believe our government?
So the first question, how do governments show accountability and
Oh,
transparency to
how
citizens?
do
Like
they?
how can they or like how do they?
I guess I would just say like with speeches,
Right.
like speaking, um, and probably not like rehearse speeches. Like I think I'd like to see, and I can't. I mean, I don't watch the news a lot, so I'm not educated on this. But I would like to. I guess I would like to see more of like our big government officials just speak out on like what the big changes they're doing, and also clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like when I think of like our government, like okay, like we have like all these like amendments, right?
Right.
And you would think like they should be like easy to understand. but some of like our laws and some of like not the amendments, but some of our laws, I would say like they're like so old that like you're like reading them and you're like, oh, I don't understand any of this. Like,
Right.
and like it's like kind of like when you like sign a contract and you're just like skip through and you're like, yeah, like sure, 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 and you just sign through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's kind of how I feel like with our government. Like in a way, like I'm agreeing to all these things, but I don't even know what they actually mean. Do you know?
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I
So I
understand.
guess a way of being accountable and transparent is just like through clarity on like if they say they're gonna do this, like do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not like, I guess like the thing I would say was like I guess like our like council meetings and like being able to watch those, I guess, like how we went to like,
Like making everything available for
yeah,
the
like how
public.
we went to like city hall, or like we can go to the roundhouse and like watch, like just making it available. I guess that's like the transparency aspect of it. So when it comes to that, I would say that that's what they do, and they do like a, I guess that's like a good job that they do that, because I mean anyone can just go watch it. But I think like we also could do better being transparent and like with like, I guess like the past as well, and like again, like when it comes to like education, like making that more important, like being educated, just like putting more of a focus on that, I guess would be like, is what we could be doing more of.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I see it. So
I wish the government was also more transparent about who we're like allies with and who we're not, like I guess like ahead of time before like anything happens,
right,
and like stating why. Not just like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, but like how did we get here and why? I don't know,
yeah,
without like
no, I understand.
without exposing too much, but yeah.
Oh.
I'm not trying to get canceled.
Yeah, no, I understand that, because like I just feel like a lot of times growing up, like it's just like this is the way it is, and this, and that's it.
Yeah, like, oh, just because.
Just
Like,
because, like
I don't want it
that's
just
why.
because. Yeah, I want an answer and an explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's like hard now. Like even like when I think back to like the presidential debate, like the last election, and like just how like I'll like just dumb, like is the word I would use, like for lack of better words. Like I remember I watched it in class and I was just thinking like these are the leaders of our country.
Both parties, by the way.
Both parties, by the way.
And with no
This-
hate to one side. Like,
this is the only option that I have, and this is it. Like I mean I was kind of shocked, like just the lack of, there are like, it's like arguing just to argue and not even to like solve a problem or get to a point, like,
yeah.
you know.
Again, like, it was more like, not like for, how to explain it? How I was talking about earlier about like doing it like for like the people that you're like running for. And like whenever I watched the debate, I was like, they're not really talking. I mean, at least like what I remember, they're not really talking about like what they're gonna do like for like who they want to help, but it was just more like me versus the other person.
Right.
And I was like,
It wasn't more, it was like, it was just more like, I'm not, it was just like more like their idea is bad because like it was just
yeah,
attacking
like
the
I
other
want to hear why
person.
yours is good.
Right. Yeah.
Not
like,
why the other person's bad. Like I can do that on myself. Like
Yeah.
on my own. Like I don't know.
yeah. And that kind of goes back to like what I was saying, like when you don't take accountability and you kind of just blame it on someone else. Like
Mm.
it's so easy to like, I guess, get like sucked into that, like when you're like mad about like something and like you just want an answer and someone just is like, oh, it's because of them, and then you're just like, oh wait, yeah, that makes sense. And like you know, like you just like, there's no like logic behind that. So I definitely understand what you're saying with like better explanations and like just being more clear in that sense. So
I like how you mentioned blame. Actually, that just reminded me. Totally, not like totally separate, but kind of separate. In my communications class, we're learning about like conflict and like like with just like relationships, like regular or like romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, I'm just gonna read this real quick if this stays. The top 4 destructive conflict behaviors, they're called the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. This was more like romantic based, but I think this can be applied. It's because it was like a behavior like cascade. So like once you do the first one, like it just leads to the next one, and then like it's just a hard process to like get out of.
Right.
And so the first one is criticism. You know, like once you start criticizing the other person, you blame and you attack them for their flaws. And I'm like, and I feel like we could definitely see that
Mm-hmm.
in the debate. And also like just like in one party versus the other, right? You start blaming the other party,
Right.
which leads to the second one, which is defensiveness. Obviously, like you're gonna be mad that this other person's blaming you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna cross complain, and you're gonna start being like, well, you do this,
Right.
and like don't point it on me because you do that. And so now they're both attacking each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one, sorry, this is like funny because it's like romantic, but I don't know why, I just feel like it goes hand in hand. And the third one is contempt. So you start making, like, in this case it's a partner, but with our podcast, you know, the other party, you'd make them feel inferior. You
Right.
start putting them down or mocking them, just like degrading, which I feel like we see a lot now.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is stonewalling. So like the other party that would like get degraded, they just like shut down. And like by some point, like now they're no longer trying to fight to like come to an agreement. They're just gonna walk away.
Right.
Yeah, sort of like not like giving up, but like realizing like there's no point.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. So I just
That's
like
actually so
I thought that'd
relevant.
be a good point.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking like that's so true, because right now I feel like, well, obviously like everyone could be like at a different stage of one of these, but like with our government, I feel like if you don't have transparency, then that's when you start to criticize the government, and then all of these fall,
Right.
you know?
And then that becomes dangerous because we criticize like each other.
Yeah.
And like when there's that divide of like people and like just like that hate, like how like nothing really can get done, if that makes sense. Like we have no power if like we don't, if we're not together. Do you know what I mean?
If we're not trying to come to an agreement.
Right.
I agree.
And then like, and with them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I feel
Yeah.
like that's like with like every part of our government. So like us, the public, right?
Right.
Government officials, and like not just like the presidents, but like everyone under them as well.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
in the middle ground.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I wish I would see more on that. I feel like there's like so many like higher officials that I kind of lose track, and then I just like I willingly choose to just like not educate myself on all of that.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, which I need to start being more accountable for.
Accountable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually start educating myself, because I'm just like, oh, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because there's like, it's a lot
Yeah.
to keep up with.
Yeah, and it is really easy to just get in that mindset of like, oh, like it doesn't matter. Like, oh, like it doesn't matter. Like, you know? It's really, really easy, and it's overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand, but yeah, I mean, I guess kind of circling back to the beginning, just when you look at accountability and transparency, like that's what democracy is, I guess, for the most part, and that's like the main foundation of how it functions. So like when we don't have that, then we can't really, I don't know, I guess we can't really function. So it's very important, but that's what I would say about it. Why is it important to check people in power? I mean, I said it's important to question the people that are making our laws and like our policy, and whether it's on a state level or a government level. Like again, like accountability comes in education, and like you should know who's representing your vote, and you should have faith in that person, and you should be able to give them your trust. And when you don't trust them, then like you're not being represented, I guess, in terms of like what you need. So I guess that's what I would say.
You know what? I also wish that, and I don't know if this, I guess like transparency, but whenever we are like picking officials, especially like for presidency, a lot of it now is like their campaigns is a big money scheme. You know?
Right.
It's like who has like the most beautiful campaign, which one has music, which one has celebrities, and it's all just
Right.
like promotion, you know, like,
Mhm.
and it's expensive. Like the biggest thing, the most expensive thing about like running a business or a campaign in this case is like the advertising, just
Marketing,
promoting. Yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes I feel like we also let that get in the way, and like we choose to like, oh, I'm gonna like, I like how this looks and I'm gonna pick it instead of like I wish people would be more
Right.
transparent instead of like
Mhm.
trying to like hide behind this big old campaign, which I know you have to campaign, right? Like
Yeah.
campaigning is like a big part of being elected in like any position, but I guess just like not trying to like have all these different types of like attractions
Mhm.
to distract the public from what they're actually like, from
Yeah.
who they're choosing and what they're actually choosing them for.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it is a business, like, you're selling a product, like, you're selling this idea of, like, what you think, and people are just gonna, like, pick off based off what they like, like,
I
what
know.
they like to see. Like, even going back to, the past, like, I remember, like, my auntie told me, like, she voted for JFK because she thought he was cute, like, it's always been like that, like like, it's always been it's like, how nice is the package, you know? Like, how nice is the
Yeah.
packaging, like, and that's, again,
Yeah.
accountability, like, we have to take accountability as, like, the public
Well,
to
look at like Kamala or like
yeah,
Kamala Harris and like Hillary Clinton, how like they're both women, and like you
yeah,
don't know, like some people might have just voted her off
right.
because they were female, and some people might have been like, oh, they're female,
I'm gonna vote
ignore
for
everything
yeah,
else. Yeah. Even like
like,
check
it's
their values first,
right.
you know?
It's so important to, like, look into, like, the person and, like, what they stand for and, like, what their policies are before you, like, just go off of, like, that stuff too.
Everything
Yeah,
else. Yeah.
everything else, so
Another thing that I wanted to add about transparency, when we had gone to the roundhouse in Santa Fe, I found out, which I did not know before, that the New Mexico government uses the Zia symbol. Like we had been using the Zia symbol on our flag without permission from the Zia
right.
Pueblo, um, which is like a Native Indian tribe or a Native American. And I didn't know that like we were using it without permission like this whole time.
Yeah,
That we barely just got
yeah.
permission to use it.
I know. I found that out
It's like,
too, and I was like, "That was crazy."
yeah.
And, like, they never like, we never knew, like
I'm like, I did not learn about this in New Mexico history at
yeah,
all.
at all, and it's crazy because like, I mean, like, growing up, like, you do, like, the national anthem, and then
And then
I,
the
like,
New
I salute the
Mexico,
flag,
yeah.
and, like, there's a lot of pride that I have in, like, New Mexico and, like, that flag and, like, what it means to me, and, like, just to find out that, like, part of it is, like, stolen from someone
Yeah.
else was, like,
Like
you
it
know
doesn't even like belong to us, and like it's something I strongly associate with like New Mexico, right? Like you see on license plates, flags, like it's on shirts. Some people get the Zia symbol tattooed. Like I have literally seen it
yeah, I
tattooed.
have a pin of it on my bag, but, like, not
Yeah.
on this
And you just think like, wow, like I don't know, like should we even associate with it? Because it's just like that's as such as like again like transparency. Like I wish we could have learned about this sooner, and I accountability, right? Like New Mexico
Right.
taking accountability for like, hey, we were wrong, and like we apologize for taking this away from you guys.
Do you know if they, like, apologized or, like
I don't know. I wish like I would have found out more, and I also like would have liked to hear from like someone from Zio Pueblo. You know, like
how they feel about it?
yeah, like
Yeah.
imagine you just like randomly start seeing like this sign that's so important to you like everywhere, and that's the thing. I don't even know how important it really is to them. Like I don't know what meaning
Right.
that symbol has to them.
Yeah, I think the guy said that, like, they pay them for it now,
Yeah,
but they didn't before, so, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm sure, like, with that probably came, like, an apology, but, I mean, I don't know, so
yeah, and like, and that's another thing that I mean, I guess it's good that they're getting paid for it, but like, does money really make up for all that hurt? You know, I don't know.
right. Yeah, and we kinda talked about that too with, like, the Japanese, like, internment camps that we had here for, like, World War
Oh
II,
yeah,
and, like, I remember I read a book about it in school, and, like, it just followed, like, this girl and her family. And they went through the camp and they lost like their home, they lost everything. And when they got out, they had like they were poor, like they didn't have any money, like and like they did get like an apology and they did get like money from the government, but like it never really like I guess like compensated for like what they went through. And like her family like fell apart, like her dad became an alcoholic, like it never could like undo what had happened, and like they were just kind of like stranded there, like left like alone. So that was like, I mean, that's like a huge thing.
Yeah. Dang.
Sad.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. Mm, Like, what do you do?
What do you I don't know. So yeah, I guess like just remembering everything and like and learning about it and teaching it to like kids and teaching it to like generations and like making sure that we don't forget is like how the biggest way to take accountability and like being transparent with like this is the mistakes we made and like this is what we did and we're gonna keep remembering to make sure that we don't do it again.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like the only thing you can do. So
Yeah, I guess that's true. I think like a good example of that would be like 9/11, how like every year like you're supposed to take like a moment of silence, you know?
right.
I guess we should do that for like different like things, like even like the internment camp is like just having like a refresher and just like remembering. I think it's harder now that you're like now that I'm like in college, right? Like you're only taking classes like associated with your major, so you don't really get to learn about like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did learn about other stuff like when you were younger, but now it's like sometimes it's just hard to like remember or keep up.
Yeah, I kind of ended on a sad note a little bit. But I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed our
Okay.
second podcast. Stay tuned for the next
We will
one.
see you next episode on Democracy is Sexy. Until next time.
Until next time.
Goodbye.